What is a life hack that seems fake, but is a true lifesaver? Every male should know this. If you want to get rid of an awkward boner, flex any muscle in your body, maybe an arm. For a minute. The blood will rush to that muscle and away from your dick. Crisis averted. Don't be that awkward dude trying to hide an erection in public. Confidently rock a raging boner while flexing those guns for all the world to see. Turn your device on and off before contacting tech support, and restart your computer regularly. Not a shutdown, a restart. Shutdown is now just a glorified sleep and will not solve your problem. If your ring gets stuck on your finger, Windex will slide it right off. Worked at a jewelry store for 5+ years. Put Windex on anything. I saw a comment on one of these kinda threads that recommended gently rocking back and forth while pooping. I've never had any problems in the bathroom, but I happened to be sitting on the toilet when I read the comment, so I decided to give it a test drive. I was pleasantly surprised at how quick and effortless the whole experience was, and I haven't gone back to my old stationary technique since. As a bonus, 1 and 2 now require the same amount of time in the bathroom. Okay, I don't know if you'll see this or have the wherewithal to respond, but it's 6:30 am where I am, and I've been up since around 4 with some constipation. Mostly just browsing around Reddit. I'm not even subbed here. I've been browsing so long I hopped over to Popular to change things up. I have work today. I just got promoted and we are right smack dab in the middle of a 2-week crunch. I can't even remember if I've ever been constipated in my entire life. So maybe it's stress. But I've been in a mild panic for the last few hours because I'm in a lot of discomfort and haven't gotten a lot of sleep, and I simply don't have time for this to be a symptom of a more serious issue. I've been getting up, moving around, trying different stretches and positions to loosen things up, but all I've been feeling is tension and a lack of relief. Rocking back and forth on the toilet for just the last 5-10 minutes has already totally relieved the discomfort and tension I've been feeling. I haven't jostled anything out yet, but I hope I've at least got the operation moving again. I'm comfortable enough to where I can probably go get a couple more hours of sleep and try again before I go to work. Thank you, Ass Lord. Edit. Hey guys, thanks for the helpful advice. My bowels are free. The show will go on. If you have funky armpits and need to fix them fast, use hand sanitizer. I figured this out years ago when I remembered that the smell comes from bacteria reactions, which antibacterial hand gel kills stone dead. Instant results, and the medical smell lasts only a minute. Don't do this routinely though, as it's delicate skin and may hurt like hell if you've shaved them and have any nicks. Use shaving cream as anti-fog. I used it on the inside of my motorcycle visor. Smear it on, let it dry, then rinse off and dry. It also works for bathroom mirrors. You can use it on a small spot so you can still see when you get out of the shower. Shaving cream also removes the smell of urine. If you ever have to take care of someone who is old and or sick and who wets the bed, a little shaving cream on a rag wiped over their buttocks after they are thoroughly cleaned up helps them really smell clean again. It's a bit of a sad tip, I know, but you never know when you might end up caring for someone who needs help with things like this. Nobody wants to smell. A dab of shaving cream to restore a bit of dignity. Priceless. Work in adult senior care and this advice is invaluable. Thank you so much. I can help make my clients' lives all the better with this. You can do the Heimlich maneuver on yourself. Use a chair or countertop. Press yourself against it right under your rib cage and press down hard. Should force air up and dislodge a blockage. True facts. I'm CPR certified, and in our classes we were taught this. Our instructor actually said to just drop yourself on the chair rather than press, as the extra force from gravity can be helpful, and any injury you might sustain will be better than choking to death. True lifesaver. If you are ever attacked by a dog, push your forearm into the bite. This pries the jaws apart and prevents them from clamping down. If a dog is attacking you, the best thing you can do is offer your forearm. Push as far back as possible, and then grab the dog by the scruff of its neck with your other hand to hold it. The dog is now functionally muzzled, and you have control of its head. The sooner and harder you push into the bite, the less damage the bite will do. That rubbing alcohol removes chewing gum. I'd go through a 20-layer deep marketing funnel to get to that tip, because it really does work. Also, wow. Thank you for all of the awards, nice Redditors. I completely forgot I left this comment and came back, and my notifications had blown up. Rubbing alcohol works to get paint off clothes also. If a man is in an accident, car, ladder fall, etc. and he gets an erection, don't move him. He has a spinal injury. As a paramedic, this is true. It's called a priapism and is associated with a mid to low back injury. Side note, unfortunately it might be his last erection. Rubbing vegetable oil or any cooking oil on your hands after you cut up jalapenos or other hot peppers. It gets rid of the awfulness that would normally be left on your hands from the peppers. I rub my hands with oil and then wash it off with dish soap. I can totally remove my contacts after doing this. It's crazy how well this works. Put your onion in the freezer for 10 minutes before chopping it. It freezes the juices just enough to slow down the process of it turning into a gas, giving you a few minutes to chop the onion without tears. I learned this tip from a kids science show years ago, and I haven't had to deal with onion tears since. So many people don't believe me, and then are genuinely surprised when it works. I've been a chef for over 15 years. This is good advice. Best advice is using a sharp knife. They slice through the cell walls instead of crushing them. The cheapest, most effective, and safest insecticide against roaches, especially those huge water bug roaches that we have in the south, is a spray bottle of mostly water with just a little liquid dish soap in it. Shake the bottle, get the water a little foamy, then spray the roaches. They will run, scrabble, and attempt escape, of course, but they will die. The soap film suffocates them faster than any chemicals will. A friend told me about this. I thought she was nuts, but I tried it. It works amazingly well. Plus it's very easy to clean up and safe around food. Not that you want to spray soapy water on your food. You can also use this on wasp nests, especially if sprayed on them right before dawn, since they're not very active. That way they'll be squeaky clean when they return back to their overlord, Satan. From the amazing book The Gift of Fear by Gavin D. Becker, a woman alone who needs assistance is actually far better off choosing someone and asking for help, as opposed to waiting for an unsolicited approach. The person you choose is nowhere near as likely to bring you hazard as is the person who chooses you. I've taught this to my children. If you're lost, find someone before someone finds you. I always tell them to find someone with a name badge on. If you're in college, don't buy your textbooks until you actually need to use them. I've saved hundreds of dollars by not buying required textbooks that we never used. Clean jewelry with dish soap, since other cleaning supplies might scratch it, like hand soap or anything that exfoliates or chemically react with the metals. Usually that's harsh cleaning supplies, and dish soap is intended to clean glass and ceramic without scratching it, and silverware without reacting with the metal, etc. When putting a paint can lid back on the can, first put down a layer of cling film saran wrap. This will stop the lid sticking to the can once the paint on the lid has dried. Run your wrists under cold water or rub an ice cube on your pulse points to cool down all over quickly when you get overheated. It seems obvious, but I didn't realize it until last summer working in a warehouse with no AC. Also something I learned in the army on extremely hot days on the range. If you need to cool yourself immediately, dunk your arms about halfway between your elbow and shoulder in ice water. Probably will need a bucket or cooler for about 20-30 seconds. Then lift your arms over your head straight up, and you'll literally feel your body completely cool from top to bottom as it moves down. If you're working outside and it's very hot, just have it ready just in case. It's required by the army once it gets hot enough to have sheets in ice water to cool anyone that becomes a heat casualty. So it makes sense if you're out mowing your yard or doing work when it's hot. If you're having trouble staying awake in class at a meeting, see how long you can keep one of your feet lifted slightly off the ground. When my dad was young, he often had to drive late at night. He said he would drive while holding a 50 bill out the window in order to focus and stay awake. Nail polish remover gets permanent marker off skin. You know, in case someone draws a dick on your face. That's because lots of nail polish remover is acetone based, and that stuff is an amazing solvent. All your kindling for a fire is wet and all you have is matches and snacks. Any con chip will light into a ball of flames. Sleep on big decisions. You think most clearly in the morning, and often after some time passes you realize you were about to make a big mistake. I swear my brain is completely different at night. I'm more creative, more bold, and more confident, so I'm really productive and good at stuff at night. But that also means that in the morning I'm often like, what was I thinking? If you feel suicidal or depressed, don't focus on hope. It is enough to just stay curious. Curiosity has the power to keep you alive far longer than hope ever will. Curiosity leads to engaging work and this leads to opportunity. I was in a very dark, very bad place in early 2018 and all that was getting me through it was that I wanted to know how Game of Thrones ended. You can laugh at that. I do. During pollen season, rinse your hair before bed. Otherwise you're just depositing pollen on your pillowcase every night and then rolling your face in it all night. And then multiply that by how many nights you use the same pillowcase. You're a genius. 4 out of the 5 people in my family have super bad allergies. I mean, like, the allergy tests came back with pages of stuff we're allergic to and long hair. I usually just change my pillow cover every other day during spring, but I'll try this tonight. Eating candied ginger helps with nausea. Any ginger really, but candied ginger is much better tasting. Edit. I see this really got people talking. Glad to see other remedies are helping, and the community giving each other tips. Thanks for the award, and be excellent to each other. Second. Edit. Chronic nausea is a different animal and I hope those suffering with it get medical help. Ginger isn't a cure for all nausea, and lots of things can cause it, such as vertigo, which is an obnoxious thing to have, and ginger won't help. I have that, and it's no fun. I use ginger for migraine nausea myself, which I also get. Mosquitoes bites be gone. This hack is the most valuable thing I've learned in my whole life. Heat the back of a spoon with hot water, then apply the back of the spoon to the bite. I usually do it twice for good measure. The spoon needs to be hot enough to keep on the skin without burning yourself. So test the heat before you press it down. Keep it on until the heat dissipates. Bite will stop itching almost immediately. Usually the bite completely disappeared within an hour. This only works with mosquitoes from my experience. Counting really slowly with the goal of reaching 150 is a decent way to fall asleep. If you have any thoughts during it, just let them play out. And if you forget what number you're on, just go from what you last remember. If you make any major movements, just start again. The goal is to force your brain into slowing down and not having any jerky motions or thoughts, and eventually reaching such a level of carelessness that you eventually fall asleep without realizing. Helped me quite a few times, especially with rain sounds. Hope it helps some of you too. I try to count backwards from 200 minus I'm usually out before I reach 100. It gives my brain something to do while my body calms down, but it's boring enough that it makes my mind wander, so eventually I stop counting and fall asleep. If your car is overheating, turn your heat on full blast. When you turn the heat on in a car, it pulls heat from the engine into the cab, thus cooling the engine. I was taught this in driver's ed 23 years ago, when in high school my buddy's car would run really hot. I told him to turn the heat on. He wouldn't. I had to convince him it was true by saying I would pay for resulting damage if the temp didn't go down. It was the winter time, and that heat was so dang hot we had to roll the windows down. But we watched his engine temp drop. I don't believe it's especially uncommon, but if no one ever told you, it would seem counterintuitive. Edit. You go to sleep and tell your wife, hey, I made a comment, and it has like 400 likes. Then you wake up, and your 6 while lifetime karma has doubled. I do hope it helps someone, somewhere, sometime that didn't already know about it. A few things as a response to some common comments. This doesn't work on electric cars. Depending on your mechanical issue, it may not work at all. It has worked for a lot of people with evidence in this chain. Those junior to me learned this from Terry of a wimpy kid. Those around my generation learned this from Hank Hill. If I can have a millionth of the influence of Hank Hill, I'll take it. Also King of the Hill reboot news link. If you want to know how it works better than me saying it pulls heat off the engine, ask your mechanic, or look for those that explained it better in this thread. This is not a permanent fix. This is to get you somewhere to safely address this issue. If you can't afford repairs and do this long term, you are gambling. Know when to hold M. Know when to fold M. You read all these comments. I hope you have a great day. If you've written on a dry erase board or any glossy surface with a permanent marker like a Sharpie, just draw over it with a dry erase marker and it will wipe right off. I had a co-worker in my last job years ago draw a huge dung on a printer. For a little context, we worked in the oil field. So yeah, perpetual man-child behavior. It's okay. I used a dry erase marker, but you didn't draw it on a dry erase board. Now did ya, Dumbus? Makeup remover on deodorant stains. Vixella randomly brought it up while talking to chat on Twitch. My husband has a lot of shirts with white stained armpits, so I gave it a shot. It worked. Oh. Edit app. I should probably clarify that I used remover wipes. Just a generic store brand pack of cleansing towelettes on my husband's old antiperspirant stain shirts from his bachelor days. He switched to a non-staining deodorant a while back. There are a lot of other helpful hacks for this issue added in replies. I'll have to try denim or dryer sheets next time I find a stain to try it on. If you start to cough while eating or drinking, essentially they went down the wrong pipe. Immediately lift both your arms up in the air and keep them held up for a few seconds. The act opens your airways and will allow you to catch your breath. Also helps food or drink travel downward. My mother-in-law taught us this, and it's now second nature. Edit change choke to cough. The Heimlich maneuver should be used if someone has food stuck. My gran used to yell, "Put your arms up," when one of us did that. I never knew why or what. This tip makes me happy. Miss my gran. If you've got a splinter below your skin surface, wrap a banana peel around it, wet side against your skin. It will draw the splinter out most of the time. I don't know how, but it frickin' works. Banana voodoo. Banavadoo. Banadoo. Edit spelling corrected. Not sure how that slipped by me. Get it? Oh my good lord, these comments, lol. And now silver awards. WTF people.